Hello friends, Athena here, and today I thought I'd talk about what I consider the basics of eye makeup. In this video, I'll be going over brush types, eyeshadow types, eyelid areas, and what type of colors are typically used there. And then finally, I'll wrap up with some tutorials on how to create 1 eyeshadow, 2 eyeshadow, and 3 eyeshadow looks. I'm not an expert at makeup application, I'm not even a makeup artist, but these are some things that I wish someone would have told me when I started out in eye makeup and that I had to discover for myself. YouTube has always been a great resource for me, and I hope this video can serve as a resource for you guys. The first brush I'm going to be talking about is a blending brush. This is characterized by longer bristles and usually a domed shape at the end. Blending brushes are used to diffuse and disperse color evenly. They come in wider and thinner versions, but the size you use will depend on where you want to disperse color and the amount of eyelid space you have. The next brush I'll talk about is the flat shader. Flat shaders are shorter and denser brushes known for their flat paddle-like shape. A flat shader is used to deposit a concentrated amount of color on the lids. They'll come in different shapes and sizes to suit your eye shape needs. I think for a beginner eye makeup, a blender and a flat shader are a really good place to start, and I think you can build majority of your eye looks with those 2 brush types. However, another brush that I find really useful to have is a pencil brush. Pencil brushes are short, dense brushes that come to a point. I like to use pencil brushes to apply color to my lower lash line. However, they're really great at applying inner corner highlight as well as deepening up the outer V. I would consider these 3 brush types the main ones used to complete an eye look. I have quite a few variations of each of them. If you're just beginning with eye makeup, I wouldn't really worry about having name brand eye brushes. I found in my personal experience, the price of a brush correlates more strongly with how long it will last you rather than whether it's able to get the job done. Next, let's talk about different types of eyeshadow. There are pretty much 3 main finishes to eyeshadow. They can come in different formats, but this is pretty much it. The first type of eyeshadow is matte. A matte eyeshadow is not going to have any sort of glitter or reflectance to it. The second type of eyeshadow finish is satin. Satin eyeshadows will have a little bit of a sheen to them, but once you get them on the lid, they'll essentially look matte. Now, adding this sheen to an eyeshadow formulaically can help it blend out easier if you're using it in the crease. The third type of eyeshadow finish is shimmer. Shimmer eyeshadows are pretty much any eyeshadow meant to be reflective. And I would say that this is the widest category that can have the most interpretation. There are eyeshadows that are very glittery, there are eyeshadows that are very intense metallics, and there are some shimmers that are a little bit more subdued. The reason why I'm not considering glitter its own category in terms of eyeshadow finishes is because glitter is really not meant for the eye area, and you can cut your corneas if you're not careful. Now we're going to talk about what different eyelid areas are referred to in tutorials and the types of colors generally used there. Hopefully I've popped up a picture of an eyeball with numbered markings. Number 1 is of course the eyelid. This is the location between your crease to your lash line. This is the place where people will typically apply shimmer shades if they're doing a metallic look or a lighter matte shade if they're working with all matte shadows. Number 2 denotes the inner corner. Here people also like to focus lighter shimmers and matte shades. Most people feel like highlighting the inner corner gives the eye a more awake look. Another area people typically like to highlight is number 3, the brow bone. On the brow bone, people will typically use shimmer shades that are in a color that complement their eye look or matte shades that are 1 shade lighter than their skin tone. Number 4 is the crease, where majority of an eye look's work is going to be done. The crease is considered from below the brow bone to the eyelid. To build an eye look, people will typically diffuse a mid-toned transition shade followed by a deeper shade. Using the mid-tone helps to diffuse whatever darker shade is chosen. Currently, the style is to use multiple matte shades throughout the crease. However, you can use a satin or a shimmer shade, but this might cause fallout. The last eye area to talk about is number 5, the outer V. This is the outer area of your eye where the crease meets the eyelid. The colors used here are typically the deepest eyeshadows in your eye look. Before we hop into the tutorials, let's talk about some things that can help build an eye look. Apart from brushes, I consider it necessary to have an eye primer. An eye primer is going to help form a barrier between your eyelid oils and the makeup you're wearing. Forming this barrier is essential to have long-lasting eye looks that will last throughout your whole day. Eye primer really helps whether you have oily or dry skin. It'll also really help if you have creases or folds in your eyelid and keep your makeup from transferring to areas where you didn't apply it. I also really enjoy completing my eye looks with an eyeliner wing and mascara. I never quite feel like my makeup is done without a wing, and mascara just helps out my short stubby lashes. Before I get started with these tutorials, I just want to say, don't be afraid of experimenting with bolder color choices or messing up. It takes practice to develop a style that you like, and if you don't like it, it's just makeup. You can wash it off and try again the next day. And if you're shy, people really don't care as much as you think they care. Like, trust me, I go out with raccoon eyes and black metallic lipstick on the regular and no one cares. And even if someone does care, it's your face. The only person that legitimately has to be happy with it is you. Hello friends, Athena here, and today I'm going to show you how to do this really simple one eyeshadow tutorial. As you can see, I already have one eye done, and we're just going to repeat the process on the other eye. Today I'm going to be using this one brown matte eyeshadow from the Juvia's Place Zulu palette. You can use any matte shade for this look. In fact, you could even use a shimmer shade, but with the shimmer shade you're going to get some fallout due to the blending that we're going to do. So I would suggest you do this with a matte eyeshadow first, just to practice. I'm going to see if I can zoom you in any closer and then we'll get started. The two brushes I'll be using for this tutorial are a blending brush and a flat shader brush. I'll pop up the names of the ones I'm using when we get started. The secret to a nice one eyeshadow look is the gradient from dark to light, going from the lid to the crease. So for this first wash of color that we're going to be applying with our blending brush, we're going to take very little color so that we can diffuse it as much as possible throughout the crease. Now that we have a light diffused wash of color, I'm going to apply my eye primer. Some people prefer to apply their eye primer before they actually get started with their crease work, but I like laying down my first layer before applying it, mostly because I find it really difficult to blend over eye primer. Now, using the same blending brush, pick up a little bit more color, and we're going to focus on placing this color in the outer V and in the crease more towards the lid. To get it deeper within the outer V, I like using sort of a stamping motion. Once you've placed your color and diffused it a little bit, don't pick up any more color on your brush, but make sure you diffuse everything outwards towards the edges. Now I'm going to continue to deepen my crease a little bit more using the same technique as before. Now that we've reached this stage, it's time to switch brushes. Now using the flat shader, I'm going to pick up a lot of color on the brush and I'm going to place it on the lid, starting towards the lash line. Now the product has been applied to the lid, I'm going to switch back to my blending brush, and I'm not going to take any additional color, but I am going to diffuse the edges once again to get that nice gradient. Now that everything has been blended thoroughly, I'm going to take my flat shader once again, and I'm going to complete the eye look by using the flat shader to apply shadow to my lower lash line. So this look is pretty much done. I'm not going to do any more eyeshadow work. I'm just going to add liner and mascara off camera and then pop back on to show you the finished look. So this is the finished one eyeshadow look. As I said, it's super simple, but it does require some blending. Hello friends! Today you're kind of already up close and personal with my face, and I'm going to be showing you how to do this 2 eyeshadow look right here. For this eyeshadow look, we are once again going to be using a blending brush and a flat shader brush. I'll pop up the ones I use up above for you when we get started with the look. As for the eyeshadows I'm going to be using today, I'm going to be using these 2 single shades from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. I'll be using one mid-tone transition shade for the crease and then one lighter shimmer shade for the lid. I would recommend that for this eyeshadow look you choose one matte and one shimmer shade. For the matte shade, I suggest a mid-tone transition shade for your skin tone that goes with the color scheme that you're going for, and a lighter shimmer shade to bring brightness to the eye. This type of 2 eyeshadow look is almost easier than a 1 shadow look because it's not really dependent on a color gradient, so you shouldn't really be afraid of applying too much or too little of your transition shade. For my first step of this look, I'm going to take my blending brush and dip it into the matte shade, which is going to be placed into the crease.
Ryan Little.
So this is about all the blending that I'm going to do for my crease, and the reason why I like choosing a matte and a shimmer shade is because a lighter shimmer shade across the lid is really going to sort of disguise any issues you may have had while doing your crease work. Now I'm going to take my flat shader brush and apply the same matte shade to my lower lash line. going to clean my flat shader off on my color switch, and then I'll start applying the shimmer shade with it. I'm going to start applying the shimmer shade to the inner third of my eye and wrap it around my tear duct area before I apply it to the rest of the lid. I don't tend to extend my shimmer shade into my crease area. However, if that's your preference, you can do that. I just like mine to be a little bit cleaner and keep it on the lid. I'm going to pop on an eyeliner wing and some mascara off camera, and then I'll be back. So this is pretty much the finished 2 eyeshadow look. I'll of course have everything else on my face linked down below for you guys. Hello friends, Athena here, and today I'll be showing you how to do this eye look right here, which uses only 3 eyeshadows. For this eye look, I'll be using these 3 eyeshadows right here. 1, this mid-tone transition shade, 2, this deep matte shade, and 3, this light shimmer shade. The eye brushes I'm going to use today are 1, a blending brush, 2, a flat shader, and then 3, a pencil brush. First, I'm going to take the blending brush and apply the matte mid-tone transition shade throughout my crease. Next, I'm going to take my pencil brush and apply the same matte shade to my lower lash line. Now I'm going to clean my pencil brush off on my color switch. Before I do the rest of my crease work, I'm going to apply my eye primer. Now that my primer is applied, I'm going to take my pencil brush and dip into my deeper matte shade. I'm going to apply the deep matte shade in my outer V area. I'm also going to apply this matte shade in my crease closer to my lid. To blend this together, I'm going to take my blending brush with no additional product and blend everything. Now that everything has been blended together, I'm going to take my flat shader brush and apply my shimmer shade. I'm going to start the shimmer shade application in the inner corner, and then I'm going to continue across the lid until I reach the outer V area. So this is pretty much the finished look. I'm going to apply my wing and mascara off camera and then be back. Well friends, this is the finished 3 eyeshadow look. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to see more content like this, please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see next.